Happy New Year, everyone. This is Daniel. I've been doing recipe videos on Instagram and TikTok for this last year, and I wanted to do longer form content to explain a lot of the different things that I'm doing in the kitchen. My main focus is going to be Filipino food. Some of it's going to be traditional, some of it's going to be more modern, but I just want to start making YouTube content. So yeah, 2024, new year, new recipes, let's go. So the first recipe I'm gonna do is a Lechon Porchetta. I've been trying to nail this recipe for like a year, and I've made it multiple times, and I think I finally found a recipe I'm willing to share. So our first step is we're gonna take our pork belly. You wanna have its skin on. You wanna find a middle slab that you can find at a lot of Asian grocery markets. All right, so this is it right here. About 1.5 inches thick, nice fat. We're just gonna pat this down dry first. So our goal is to have a super dry skin. So when we roast it in the oven, we're gonna get a nice crispy skin. And I think that's the hardest part with pork belly and the oven method, is because it's hard to get that crispy skin. So actually we're gonna cook this up tomorrow. We're gonna transfer it to a wire rack so it's elevated. So our next step to draw out some of the moisture, I have this little tool here. I just got this on Amazon. It's a meat tenderizer. It has these little pokey thingies here. So we're just gonna poke some holes in the skin. So poking holes in the skin is gonna allow that skin to crisp up later. So our next step is we're gonna just add some salt to the skin. So the purpose of salting the skin in the fridge overnight is to draw as much moisture as possible. So I have some Morton's kosher salt. Oh, it's gonna look like a lot, but we're gonna end up brushing this off later. Coat it evenly on the skin. Some of the salt is going to be absorbed in the skin, but again, we want the moisture to be pulled from the skin to get that crispy skin later. All that's left is to stick it in the fridge, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. And we're back. The pork belly's been in the fridge for about 16 hours. Remember, you want to leave it at least 12 hours so it dries up the skin. Before we remove the pork belly from the fridge, we're going to prep our veggies. So we're going to start by breaking down 1 head of garlic. 1 head of garlic might seem a lot, but you know, more garlic the better. Right now I'm just pressing down on the garlic to get the skin off. Just makes it a little bit easier to peel. Yeah, it comes right off. So we're gonna smash the garlic. We just need to do a rough chop. So I'm gonna go long ways first. All right, once we get that long slice, we're gonna go back, chop it finer. Set that aside. Next, we're gonna break down our shallots. I have these 2 tiny ones. Usually I just use 1 bigger shallot, but I have tiny ones today, so we're gonna use these. All right, so we're gonna cut off the ends, and we're gonna do slices across the onion. Oh, and there you go, we got our shallots. Next, we have our Thai chilies. These are super spicy. If you don't like spice, you don't have to put these in, or you can maybe just use 2. I love spice, so we're gonna use 4. Nice slices. All right, there you go. We have our chilies. Next, we have 4 green onions. We're gonna cut off the roots. We're gonna cut these into 2-inch pieces, just like that. Set those aside. And we're gonna do the same thing with our lemongrass. I have 2 pieces right here, and we're gonna remove the outer layer. We wanna use the tender part of it, so we're gonna peel back a couple layers. And before we cut these, we're gonna take off the ends real quick. And to release a lot of the aromatics before we cut it, we're just going to take the back of our knife, pound it. And that's like one of the best smells. It reminds me of Fruit Loops for some reason. Nice. All right, chop off the rough bits of the ends, and then same thing, 2-inch pieces. So now that all our veggies are prepped, we're gonna take out our pork belly out of the fridge, and we'll see how that looks. All right, here we go. As you can see, there's still a lot of salt. That was the point, we expected that. We're just going to scrape off the excess salt, and you can see there's a lot of moisture that's been pulled out on the skin, which is what we wanted this whole time. Now that our salt is removed, we're gonna take some paper towels and pat this dry. We're gonna remove it from our wired rack and put it down here. So a lot of the recipes online have the green onions and the lemongrass as whole bunches and to just stick it in the middle and fold it. But because I want to get the flavor of all the aromatics throughout the meat, we're going to butterfly this, and we're going to start on this end and stop over here. So pick one end and make sure you want to slice it in the way that the grain is going. So you want to go halfway, slice, and you can use the fat to help you guide because there is a line of fat that you can use. You don't want to go all the way through the skin. You want to make sure you're going halfway through. Stop and check your work so you don't slice all the way and cut the meat. We don't want to go all the way to the skin. Oops, I messed up a little bit, but that's okay. Great. So I didn't cut all the way through to the end. As you can see, like it's still connected down the middle. So there, beautiful. So now that we have this all opened up, we're going to go in with our salt. We just want a nice coating. We don't want to over salt this. Pepper, garlic, spread them out. Red chilies, shallots, we have our green onions, our lemongrass. I have my butcher's twine. We're gonna just take a couple feet of it. So we're gonna start on this end and we're gonna roll it and try to keep it tight so that the meat is not gonna be loose and all the fillings are gonna come out. Well, some of it might, but it's okay. I pull it tight and roll. After a little bit, you want to drag it, pull. Try to keep everything tight. There you go. Tight. Tight. Beautiful. All right. We're going to take our butcher's twine and we're going to truss it. So let's find the middle. Going through the center. We're going to make 2 loops. Right down the middle. 1, and then 2. Boom. So we're gonna reserve this side, it's gonna go up, and you wanna make sure when you tighten it and you twist it up, it's in opposite direction so it's not gonna come loose. We're gonna take our string, go under, and make like a 4 and tighten it. There we go. And we're going to do it again, make a 4, come in again, and tighten it. And you can adjust the string to make the string even. Now we're going to flip it to the other side. Same thing, I probably could have used a little bit more string. And we're going to go fold it this way and tie it under. The reason why we're doing this is when it cooks, we don't want it to lose its shape. So that looks pretty good to me. Remember, we need dry skin, so we're gonna get all the excess moisture off. We're preheating the oven at 325 and we're gonna let this cook for 3 hours. During that time, the fat's going to render, the skin's gonna dry up, and that's gonna prepare us for our final step to get the skin all crispy. So we're gonna take a baking sheet and a wire rack, toss this on top, and throw this into the oven. We'll see you guys in 3 hours. It's almost been 3 hours since we put our pork in the oven. Before we pull it, we're going to make a quick dipping sauce. We're going to start off with 1 shallot. We want to dice this as fine as possible. We have 4 cloves of garlic. So those are 4 garlic cloves. We're gonna take a half a thumb of ginger. Peel it first. Once we cube it, we're gonna slice it thin. Now it's all sliced, we're gonna turn it this direction and make little strips. And then we're gonna cube it. Tiny dices. All right, there's our ginger. And then we have our 2 red chilies. Red chilies and all the seeds in. All right, to this, we're gonna add about a tablespoon of fish sauce. If you're not on that Three Crabs fish sauce, get it, it's the best. Go about a teaspoon of salt. Black pepper. This is Datuputi vinegar. This is cane vinegar. You can get this at any Asian market pretty much. So we're just gonna fill this up all the way. I almost forgot, we're gonna add about a teaspoon of brown sugar. All right, we're gonna give this a little mix and then a little taste test. If the vinegar is too strong, you can dilute this with a little bit of water. So let's just try it. Okay, that's good for me. All right, it's been 3 hours. We're gonna pull the pork belly off and we're gonna take a look at it. Ooh, all right. So right now, the skin is that's actually pretty hard, but we wanna get it to bubble a little bit. You can see a lot of the fat, I don't know if you can tell, but a lot of the fat has rendered out, and we're gonna actually use that because we're gonna baste it. We're gonna preheat the oven to 400 now. Be careful because this is hot. We're gonna just strain the fat that is rendered off. Beautiful. For the next 20 to 30 minutes, we're going to baste this in the oil. That way, it's gonna allow the skin to crisp up even more. Also, we want this on the lower side of the oven to prevent big bubbles from happening. We wanna keep it low. We don't want it too high on the oven. Right now, I have about half a cup of oil. We're just gonna baste this. All right, and we're gonna pull this every 10 minutes or so and add more oil to it. Back in the oven it goes. All right, it's been 30 minutes. We've been basting with the oil every 10 minutes. Let's check it out. Oh yeah. You can tell the skin's definitely crunchier. So we're gonna let this rest for about 15 minutes before we cut into it. All right, it's been 15 minutes. We're going to get this on here and we are going to cut this open. First, we're gonna get the strings off. Let's go down the middle. Oh yeah. Let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah. Take a look at that. Beautiful. All right, this looks incredible. We're gonna try out the skin that's coming right off the meat here. Ooh. All right, this is the crunch test. Let's see how this does. Oh my gosh. It's the best skin. Every time I've made this before, once you bite it, it becomes chewy and it gets stuck in your teeth. This is like almost a chicharron. Let's get some of this sauce on here too. I got it, guys. I figured it out. I figured it out. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's so good. Incredible. That's it for this week's video. The goal is to give you a recipe every week. So please like and subscribe, and 2024, let's go.